everyone, in this video we're going to solve a popular Leetcode problem called as product of array except self. This is problem number 238 in Leetcode and it is a medium problem. If you're new here, then I am Radhika. Welcome to my channel Datazard. And now without further ado, let's get started. So the problem states that given an integer array nums, return an array answer such that the answer I is equal to product of all elements of nums except nums of I. The product of any prefix or suffix of nums is guaranteed to fit a 32-bit integer. You must write an algorithm that runs in O(n) time and without using the division operation. So we are given some constraints that our time complexity should be O of n and we cannot use division operation. Now let us try to first run this through an example. Now we are given this nums array. I'm taking an example where we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and in answers also our answers array would be of same length as our nums is because we need to store products of these numbers over here. But there is one condition. We can't include that number which is at the index we are currently evaluating. What does that mean? We are at first location in this array. So we cannot include this number for product that we are finding for this location. So we can include these three numbers. So the product for these would be 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, multiplied by 4 is 24. So we have 24 over here. Then we move to the second location. For second location, again, we can't include this second location in the product. We can only include first, third and fourth position. So product of 1 multiplied by 3 is 3, multiplied by 4 is 12. So we have answer 12 here. Then for the third index, we can't include the third index. So we can't include 3 over here and we need to include the rest of them. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, multiplied by 4 is 8. Then for the last one, we can't include this last index. So we have to include these three. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, multiplied by 3 is 6, and we have 6 here. And this is our answers array that we need to return. Now, if you look at this carefully, when I was doing multiplication, let's try to use this as an example. So I'm currently evaluating 2. We have numbers which are before this, so to the left of 2, and we have numbers to the right of 2. What essentially we are doing is we can just multiply whatever numbers are there on the left of 2, which means we just have 1, and whatever numbers are there on the right of 2, which is 4 multiplied by 3, that is 12. We don't have to include this 2, so we don't have to worry about it. And then we just multiply this left by right. 1 multiplied by 12, and that's how we get 12. Let's take another example. Now instead of evaluating this 2, I'm going to evaluate this 3. So again, when we are evaluating this, we have things on the left of 3 and we have things on the right of 3. So for the left side, the product is equal to 2. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. For right side, we just have one digit, so we have 4. And 2 multiplied by 4 is 8, and that's how we have got answer 8. We can apply the same logic for the ends as well. But for the ends, we know that for the left side end, we will not have anything on the left of it. So we can assume that we have a 1 over here. So on left, we are assuming for this one that we have 1. For the right hand side, we have 3 things. So we find the product of these 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, multiplied by 4 is 24. So then we multiply this one on the left with 24 on right, and that gives us 24. In the same way, we can do it for the right end also. So for right end, again, we are evaluating this index. We don't have anything on the right, which means we can assume that we have a 1 over here and we have 3 things on its left. So we multiply these 3. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, multiplied by 3 is 6. Then on the right, we have 1. 6 multiplied by 1 is 6, and that's how we have 6. So all we are doing is we are mimicking this operation at all the indexes. We are multiplying left by right, and whatever the value comes, we are just using that as an answer. Let me try to explain this again visually. What we will do is, let's just evaluate the left array first. So for left array, we're going to store for this location whatever is the product to the left of it. So we don't have anything to the left of this index, so we just going to assume 1, and because we just have 1 here, we don't have anything to multiply it with, so 1 goes here. Then we are evaluating this 2, so we will multiply whatever is to the left of this 2, which is just this digit, so we just have 1. Then again we're going to evaluate this digit, which means we need to find product of the digits which are to the left of this index, that is this one and this one, so we multiply 1 by 2 and store 2 here. Then we are evaluating this index, which means we have to multiply all the digits which are sitting to the left of this index, which means these 1, 2 and 3, so 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, multiplied by 3 is 6. So this is how we form our left array. Now in a similar way, we are going to define our right array. So for right array, we're going to find the product of the numbers that are to the right of the index. So for this location, we're going to find product of this, this and this, because they sit to the right of 1. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, multiplied by 4 is 24. So we have 24 here. Then for second location, we are just going to multiply 3 and 4 because these sit to the right of 2. So we have 4 multiplied by 3, that is equal to 12. Then for the next location, we're going to have just 4 sitting here because only 4 sits to the right of 3. So we just have 4 over here. Then for the fourth location, we don't have anything on the right. It's just 4 index that we are evaluating. We don't have anything on the right, so we're going to assume 1 is there, and we just have 1 over here. And now all we need to do is we just need to multiply these together. So 1 multiplied by 24 is 24, 1 multiplied by 12 is 12, 2 multiplied by 4 is 8, and 6 multiplied by 1 is 6. And this is our final answer that we need to return. Now here we have to create first a left array, then a right array, and then we are multiplying it to store it in answers array. But we can do this in a shorter way by storing intermediate results in this answer array itself. Let's try to do that. So I've created this answers array here, and we're going to forget about this and start working on this. So our first step would be same as what we did for this side, which is we're going to store the results of the left over here. So we're going to find product of all the digits that are sitting to the left of the index that we are evaluating. So again, we are going to assume there is 1 here because there is no index on the left of it. And for this, we just have 1, so 1 goes here. Then we are evaluating the second index. So we can't include this index, so we can only include this 1 over here. So the answer for this one is 1. Then we are evaluating the third index because we have to fill the third one, and we just need to multiply these 2. So we have 2 over here. I'm just recreating this. And then for this index, because we are filling this here, we have to multiply 1, 2 and 3. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, multiplied by 3 is 6. So we have 6. These both match. But now, instead of creating this right array, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the rightmost position, and then I will just multiply whatever is on the right with that particular index, because that's exactly what we have to do, right? Like when we are evaluating this index, we are just multiplying this with whatever is on its right. So on its right, we don't have anything, so we're going to assume 1. We have the product of this over here, which is 6. So we just multiply this 6 by whatever is sitting on the right. So 6 multiplied by 1, which is equal to 6. And in the final answer also, we have 6 over here. We have got this. Then now we are evaluating this index. For this index again, we know that the product of the digits on the left is 2, because you can see that 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, and that is exactly what we have here. So all we need to do is we need to get whatever is on the right. So on the right, we have just 4. So we are going to multiply this 4 because that's sitting on the right with whatever is the product on the left. Product on the left is 2. We multiply this 4 by 2 and we get 8 here. So we're going to update the array itself. So we have 8 here. This sounds a little complicated, but if you pay attention, it will make more sense. We are evaluating this index. For this index, we know that this is the product of the things on the left of it. What are the things on the right of this index? This and this, because this is what we are evaluating right now. So we have 4 and 3. So all we do is we multiply this 4 and 3 with 1. So 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. 12 multiplied by 1 is 12. So we just update this with 12. Then we are evaluating this index. For this index, the product of things on the left of it is 1. We just have to find product on the right of it. So product on the right of this will include 2, 3 and 4. So multiplication of 2 by 3 by 4 is 24. We multiply this 24 by 1, which is the product of the left side. This is 24 is the product of the right side. And that would be equal to 24. And that's how we have 24 here. And you see these two results match. And we have used just the answers array and not left and right array. So we have excluded two arrays from coming into picture. I'm going to use this logic of first creating array answers for storing the product of the left side digits and then updating the answers array with product of the right side digits and the left side digits together in my Python code as well. So let's start looking into that. Now I will first start to create my answers array. So answers array should be the same length as our nums array, and because we are putting multiplication results here, so I'm going to initialize this array with 1 and multiply it by the length of nums so that 1 gets repeated that many number of times. Now once we have this, I'm going to initialize the left value by 1 like the way we were doing in the solution also, and a right value also by 1. Now these left and right values, what they will do is they will store the product of digits to the left of the index that we are evaluating, and this will store the product of the digits to the right of the index. In this way, we don't have to run a second loop to get the sum of all the digits to the left when we are evaluating the middle digits. It will make more sense when we are going to run the loop in the dry run. Now for I in range length of nums, so we are evaluating each index, and now I'm creating that answers array in the first run, which will store the answers product of all the digits which are to the left of the number or left of this particular index. So now my answers of I have to update this. So answers of I would be equal to answers of I multiplied by the left value, because we are storing whatever is the product of the left side of the index in this left value. And then we have to update our left value as well. So left value will be equal to left value multiplied by nums of I. Now after this loop is run, our answers of I would contain whatever was there for this left array, which means 1, 1, 2, 6. Now we're going to do the same thing for the right side, and for right side we have to run the reverse loop. Remember that for right side we were starting from 4, then 3, then 2 and then 1. So I'm going to use the same logic. So here for I in range, we're going to have starting from length of nums. This is the start position. We have to do -1 because our indexes start with 0. So our starting location should be length of nums -1. We're going to go till -1 and the step size would be equal to -1. So we are going in the reverse direction here. Again, our answers of I would be equal to answers of I. Now here we're going to multiply that with the right value because we're storing the product of right digits in the right value. And then we have to update our right value as well. So right value would be equal to right value multiplied by whatever is there on the nums, so that we keep updating our right value with the digits that we are evaluating. If you're not able to understand this, then I will do a dry run of this in a minute and it will make more sense when I do that. So please watch the full video. Ultimately, we just have to return answers because now our answers would contain the product of left side as well as the right side. Now I will just submit the solution. And after submitting, we can see that it gets accepted. Now I will do the dry run and I promise it will make more sense when I do this. Now I have copied the solution over here and this is the same nums array that we used before. Now we're going to initialize our answers array. I'm going to write left value values over here and answers over here. I will also write I over here. Now we have the initial values of left value is 1 and initial value of answers is also 1, 1, 1 and 1 because that's how we have initialized this over here. Now we have 0, 1, 2 and 3 as values of I because we have list with 4 digits. Now for I is equal to 0, we are in this loop. We have to evaluate this first. So answers of I is 1. 1 multiplied by 1. That's what we are going to do over here. So then we will have 1 and rest of the digits stay the same. Then next we go to this line. We have to update our left value. So left value is equal to the current left value multiplied by nums of I. So we have 0, 1, 2 and 3 here. So this value multiplied by the index that we are evaluating, which is 0, whatever is the value at 0, which is 1. So 1 multiplied by 1, which is equal to 1. Now for the second iteration, again we have to evaluate answers of I. So answers of I, this one we have evaluated. Now we are at this index. So this would be equal to current answers of I multiplied by the left value. So 1 multiplied by this one is equal to 1. And the rest of the answers of I remains same. Now we have to update our left value as well. So for left value, we have to multiply the current left value with nums of I. Nums of I is 2 because we are evaluating index 1 over here. So we have 2 here. So 2 multiplied by 1 is equal to 2. This left is just to keep track of product till that digit. Then for the next iteration, we are going to have this 1 and 1. Now we are at this index, so we multiply answers of I, which is this 1 multiplied by the left value, which is 2. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. So we have 2 here and the rest of the answers remain same. Then we have to update left value. So left value is the current left value multiplied by digit at index 2, which is 3. So 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. It's 6. Then again, we enter the loop for the third iteration. And for third iteration, these will remain same. We are evaluating this. For I is equal to 3, we multiply 1 by 6. So 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. We update our left value as well. So left value gets updated from 6 multiplied by 4 is equal to 24. So if you look here, we have answers of I as 1, 1, 2, 6. And from our example also, left should be 1, 1, 2, 6. Now we are going to run this. We have completed this loop. We are now going to evaluate this part of loop. So for this loop, I will again have my I. Here we are using right value. So I will write right value here instead of left value and then our answers array. Now here our I would be in the reverse order. So I would be equal to 3, 2, 1 and 0. Our answers now would be, we enter this condition So answers of I, which is this location, we have to update. So I'm keeping the rest of the things as same, 1, 1, 2. And to evaluate this, all we do is answers of I multiplied by right value. So answers of I, which is answers of 3, is 6, multiplied by the current right value is 1. This will be equal to 6. Then we update our right. So right value is current right value 1 multiplied by the digit at the current index. So 1 multiplied by 4 is 4. Then we enter I is equal to 2. Again, we evaluate this condition. So for this, rest of the things again are same. We are evaluating this 2 here. So 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. 6 remains same, and then we have to update our right value from here. So it is 4 multiplied by 3, because that's what we are evaluating. So 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. Then for I is equal to 1, we are evaluating this index now. So rest of the things remain same, 1. Now for this, current index multiplied by right value, which is equal to 12. We have 8 here, we have 6 here, and then we have to update our right value. So new right value will be the current right value, which is 12, multiplied by the digit at the index that we are evaluating 2. So this will be equal to 24. Then for I is equal to 0, we will have current answers of I multiplied by the right value. So this will be equal to 24, 12, 8 and 6. And then we have to update right value as well for this one. So it will be 24 multiplied by the value at index that we are evaluating. So 24 multiplied by 1 is equal to 24. So this is our final answers that we are returning. I hope I was able to explain you the full concept. If you have any questions or have any doubts, then please put them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one.